You all right?
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Episode 50. Episode 50, Perfectly Incomplete Podcast. I'm Imogene, and I talk a lot. We got my girl Toni in the building. What's up?
Oh, hi. Why you say you talk a lot?
What's going on? Alex, you got a mic?
Yeah, I got a mic.
You talking with us today?
That don't mean that I have to talk. I just got the mic just to get the mic. But whatever, I'm here.
What's up? Everybody doing good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, how y'all feeling? Y'all all right?
Feel great.
I'm not. I got problems, y'all. Guess what? I'm pregnant.
Wow.
And I want to have an abortion, and I can't because of Roe versus Wade.
I'm still stuck on it. Yeah, I'm pregnant.
No, y'all, listen. Y'all know.
Who the daddy?
Y'all know I ain't even pregnant.
I was about to say, who's the dad?
Oh, I thought you said you. I was going to say, who's you?
No,
anyway.
I'm not pregnant, of course. I'm too old. I can't have babies, but I figured that would be funny for y'all to introduce the Roe versus Wade. What do you think about that decision? I know you got something to say.
Give some context to the audience, guys.
Well, you know.
Who doesn't know about Roe v. Wade?
Some people may not know, man.
Here we go.
Like,
all
what's
right.
happening?
Well, if y'all know, up until the 24th of June, women were protected by federal law for having abortions. And that came from a decision way back in, I think, 1973, Roe versus Wade. And women had that right protected. Well, the Supreme Court just recently, more specifically June 24th, overturned that ruling, saying that women are no longer federally protected under law to have abortions. So what that means is it's left up to individual states whether their constituents can have abortions or not. So they're saying half the states have laws that's going to criminalize it and give penalties for women that's trying to do it. And some other states are allowing it. New York is a state, which is where I live, that they allow you to have abortion. So that's the backdrop.
Praise God. I'm just saying.
You glad?
Well, listen, it's a very touchy conversation to have, but quite frankly, I feel as if taking away the right to choose whether or not I want to go ahead and have a baby is a lot. It's a lot.
But they're not taking you right away because you can just go to one of those states that allows you to do it.
You know, it reminds me of back in the day when you see like those movies of someone gets pregnant in Virginia and has to go over the Mason-Dixon line to get something done.
Okay.
And I don't like that feeling.
Politicians do it all the time. They move to districts just so they can run in an election. They do it just in enough time to meet the requirements saying you have to occupy this space for 30 days. So that's been happening since the beginning of history, a strategic move.
I mean, it's one thing for something political. This is individuals' bodies, and more specifically, women's bodies being policed, essentially, by their state governments. For you to sit there and say, oh, yeah, no, yes, we were completely fine with you having control over your own bodies. Because it doesn't just affect abortions. It also affects contraceptive. So now federally funded wise, they're no longer providing federal funding for contraceptive either. Now that's also completely on the states.
True. So
whereas before, you can go to any state and get birth control. Now you better hope and pray that your state even offers that to you if you're on Medicaid or Social Security. Well, if you have, SSI.
Social Security. Hey, listen, if you 62 getting Social Security and if you concerned about contraceptives, I'll personally get them to remove the ban. Because if you 62 and can get knocked up, we need to make that happen,
like disability. Like SSI,
Yeah.
But, SSD. You also are not entitled to contraceptive there either. Because that's federally funded. Okay. So that's where I stand. Whereas we're like, oh, well, we don't want people all having these babies, but you take away contraceptive.
Okay, that's a way to look at it. I just think, I'm not going to say what's the big deal, because naturally it doesn't apply to me. I'm not of an age where I can give birth, being straightforward with it. But when I think about it, I don't know if I agree with the stuff about rights to their body because it seems to me a lot of women, they need somebody to police their bodies. I'm going to just keep it 100. Now, in the case of women being raped or their health is jeopardized, I can understand that. But honestly, somebody need to police them because a lot of women out here getting it in. To me, I'm hoping a consequence will be on a more elevated intellectual level that women will start thinking now, knowing that I don't have this option. Maybe I'll put a little bit more thought in before I feel like I want to, or however they do that. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, and like I said, in the case of rape or for women's health is jeopardized, I think they should have that option. But then I want to believe that if a woman is sick and goes to the hospital and she's pregnant and the life is between the mother and the child, I want to believe that the medical experts will make a decision based upon what's most viable in that situation. But, well, I don't know. But so I'm probably not the one to talk to. I think it has a lot of implications, and we're going to have some real big families, all these married men and their side chicks. Like, that's going to be a thing. They're going to have more wifeys in law. It's going to be a burden on the state. That's going to be a lot.
Oh, Lord, the blended families are getting a little bit more blended.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more. And honestly, if I would have to be honest, I can't wait. I can't wait to expose all these cheating men. I can't wait. I really can't, because now you can't hide it. You can't take your mistress to the clinic. You can't. You're stuck.
And women.
Huh?
And cheating women.
I just think it's going to be a burden.
That's true, too. You're stuck. Oh, well.
In a lot of ways, and people are protesting about rights to their bodies, and I get it. There may be a lot of women that are desperate and, may try to commit suicide or may try to do the back alleyway abortions like we saw before. And I don't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I kind of understand that. I understand that people should have the right to choice. But I just think there's going to be a lot of other implications, because if you're saying you can't have an abortions in those states, right? So you have a lot of teenage pregnancies on the rise. That burden is going to fall on the state. All these fathers that they be like, I don't know where the daddy is. Child support coming for y'all now. They're going to put out APBs on y'all because they're going to find it, because it's going to burden the taxpayers, because you have to have health care for pregnant women. And if a lot of people don't have the resources to really properly care for a child, that's a burden on society. And the government is going to try to recoup that. I would hope to see people that are convicted of rape, their charges need to be truncated to that. But it's all, even economically, it's just shifting money from one side of the government to the next.
Yeah.
But the family, that's why I say the family implications, the real, with families and husbands and wives and side chicks.
And side dudes.
And abuse, domestic violence about to go up. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's going to have a...
Domestic violence getting ready to go up. Explain that to me, please.
Well, I think, and maybe I'm being radical, but I'm being the devil's advocate, because cheating has been on the rise. All you got to do is look on social media.
Child.
And I don't know the numbers, but it's a lot of women that proudly boast about sleeping with another woman's man. They brag about it. It was a young girl in the neighborhood, someone just telling me, she was standing on the porch saying, bragging about how she's sleeping with somebody else's husband.
So I'm sweating.
But and I'm just saying, I just think it's going to be a lot, because now they don't have that option. And then you're going to travel to states where you can, like New York, you can. So I'm sure we're going to get an influx of people coming.
It's going to be a great migration.
Yeah, the great migration. But think about what that does because in vitro fertilization is legal. And when we speak of the LGBTQ community, I'm getting off a little bit ahead of myself. But a lot of these types of couples are trying to have babies. They want to start families or expand their families. And a lot of the surrogate mothers are from out of the state of New York. They're not from
Right.
New York State. So you have this influx of people that will be coming for abortions and people that will be coming to be surrogate mothers.
Mm.
And I think healthcare with public funding, that's really going to be a thing, you know? We may have longer waiting times to get in.
Oh Lord.
It's going to be a trickle down effect, you know?
I definitely think so. But we were talking about before, Ma, you were saying domestic violence.
Yeah, because I think domestic violence, because people like the brothers can't be saying, they be messing around. And when I say brothers, I don't mean African American men. I mean men in general that has affairs outside of their marriage, and women get pregnant. And a lot of them, they pay for an abortion or whatever, and they can still do that if they have the means. But women have those little devious ones now. They can really legally justify why they ain't gonna have an abortion because it's against the law.
I see what you mean.
So it's against the law,
right.
And that's a lot of pressure with some men. It's one thing when they're out there sleeping around, and it's another thing when you get caught because you got this female who pregnant. And she ain't got to have no abortion. I'll tell your wife. I don't know if they do that, but I could see where that's a lot of pressure for a male. You messing up my happy home, da-da-da. I don't know. Maybe I'm to the extreme, but.
Well, we'll see. There's only one way that we're going to know. Is that we see. What you guys say?
Can I ask a question for you guys? So just so I'm clear, are you against a male policing abortions? Like, is that your stance?
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't know what goes on with a woman's body. So who are you to tell me what the hell I should and should not do?
Mom, are you against a man policing women's?
Absolutely,
right,
especially when they're not even policing their own.
Ooh, I'm just going to put it this way. If I can't get an abortion, you should be able to have a vasectomy.
Are you against a woman policing another woman's choice to abortion?
Yes. Because to me, it's not necessarily about men or women for me. It's more so about who are you to say, who are you, meaning man, woman, or anything in between. Who are you to tell me what I should do with my body?
I got another question for you guys.
Well, I'm not going to
Especially if I got to pay for it.
I'm not going to say I'm for or I'm not for it. I'm not against it. And I'll just say that because there's reasons women have abortions, and I'm not even going to get into it with that. I think there needs to be some kind of code that regulates the way people carry themselves. For a lot of people, it used to be, I don't want to say religion, but it used to be spiritual principles. But as we can see, that's out of the window. Myself, I'm a Christian. Can't push that on everybody else. But I want to see it like that. In my mind, if this country is built upon Christian values and principles, I think that's a big problem, that a lot of the world is living a life of a secular mode. Not knocking it. I'm not coming at anybody because you believe in what you believe in. And yet you can look at the facts. You can look at history, how prayer has been taken out of school, or there's supposed to be separation of religion and state, church and state. We know that's not the case. Anytime you can see ministers sitting up in the White House counseling them. So stuff has got mixed up. I say all of this to say there does need to be some kind of a code and some kind of enforcement because people are running rush shots. Teenage pregnancy is on the rise. Divorce is on the rise. Suicide, mental health, all of that stuff is a trickle down effect, but it boils down to the choices that individual people are making. And sex and body influences people to make a lot of the crazy choices that they're making. And who gets the consequences? Taxpayers or innocent kids that are part of a family. And it's not cool. So I'm not for or against it. I am for people making more responsible choices. When you know better, you do better.
I was going to say, Mom, someone policing abortion, is that someone indeed taking away a woman's choice to her body, though?
No, because she can choose to be pregnant intentionally or choose.
I don't think that's taking away a choice. Do you
Go
think?
ahead.
Do you,
No.
Mom?
No. Let her finish. Let her finish.
I've said what I'm going to say. I just think in my mind, you guys are not going to pigeonhole me. I think just like we've adjusted to everything we've seen from murders and police brutality and discrimination. And just like we're adjusting on an individual level, like I'm not going outside at 2:00 jogging. Okay. So just like I've adjusted myself accordingly, I think responsible young women should adjust their behaviors
I agree.
and their thinking
That's where I'm getting at.
and get a chance to make decisions in consideration of the legislation that's rolling out.
I'm going to be the unpopular opinion in the world. I personally think, Mom, that and Tony, that abortion to a certain extent is a luxury. I think that it's become a luxury. I think that it's become something that once upon a time didn't exist. If you got pregnant, you accepted what came with that.
Elective abortion is a luxury.
Right.
Because
There we go.
Roe v.
There we go.
Wade, the repeal
Right.
of Roe v. Wade also got rid of medically necessary abortion.
Right.
Yeah.
So elective abortion, I feel, is a luxury. I feel like when I say, do you think there's anything wrong with someone policing abortion? What I mean is if medical professionals say, hey, listen, professionally speaking, I think that it would be in your best interest to get an abortion. However, if it doesn't fall into the category of medically necessary or rape or, those things, I think that no, you had sex, you chose to have sex, and you can't make me perform or operate on you because you made a decision. That's not me taking away your choice. That's me saying, no, I'm not going to operate on you and I'm not going to give you what you want because you're irresponsible.
Well, medical professionals still have that right to say no. So there's nothing that says that if
Federally.
No,
That's what I mean.
Federally and state-wise, they still can say, no, I'm not performing this procedure.
Right. No, I'm saying the federal government, I don't think there's anything wrong with the federal government saying, hey, listen, these are the guidelines. If you fall within these guidelines, then yeah, sure, get your abortion on.
But that's not what it did.
What did it do?
It took away all the guidelines.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I was just speaking.
Stuck.
I was just speaking to the point of you disagreeing that you don't think it's cool for someone to police a woman's body. I kind of disagree with that point.
I don't, because it doesn't just apply to abortions. When I said that, I wasn't just me talking about just abortions.
Okay.
I mean, as far as being a young woman of reproductive years, I can't go, if I live in the state of Georgia, for instance, I can't go to my doctor's office. I can't go to my OB. I'm sorry, my GYN, because I'm not pregnant. I can't go to my GYN and say, I want to go on birth control.
I agree with that.
Like I can't do that.
I agree with that part.
I will have to have, and even now I still can't do that. They'll just be like, oh, well.
Right. I was just speaking specifically on abortion.
I see a bigger thing, and we're used to this liberalist environment that we're in of individual rights. And I agree, human rights, that we should have them. And sometimes some people may perceive that the rights have gone too far. I just think it's amazing. There are groups of people that don't even have human rights, haven't had them since the beginning of time, still trying to get them. And then you have groups of people, whether it be women or whatever the group is, they've had luxurious rights, okay, like an elective abortion, or they can do in vitro fertilization, or whatever the case may be. I speak from the identities that I possess. I still want my 40 acres and a mule. And I say that just to represent, to balance the scales because they're off. And you have all of these people getting extensive rights. So the abortion thing, I think they haven't really codified it yet. I think there's a lot to be done because doctors take that Hippocratic, whatever, that oath that they take where they have to save lives. And you can't help but to wonder with the politics that go. So if you're coming from a state, they say bipartisan. If you're coming from a state that doesn't allow it, and then you coming into a state that does allow it, it's consuming resources.
Yep.
And that leaves an area for some shifting. We've seen before, not only have women gone to the gynecologist and the were found out they were getting pregnant by the doctors, that their kids belong to the doctors, or women doctors have been just giving them abortions without their information. This is the kind of playing field in my mind that we're on now, because there is definitely an agenda, I think, and I don't like to go political, but it seems like ever since the pandemic, there's what they call the she session, so to speak, trying to put women back in their places. Because during the pandemic, a lot of retail workers, food service workers, the most of them, the low wage jobs were women. And they were the ones that were going to stay home with their kids and homeschool their kids, even though some of the guys were working from home. And then when things open back up, yeah, you have some people that choose by their preference that I want to work from home. But then I'm not going to say everybody knows, but it is a fact. There's a lot of evidence that supports the notion when women take a break from work and try to re-enter the workforce, they lose the gains that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of them start businesses. I say all of this to say, so now women are back in the home with the kids. Now you're saying you can't have abortions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before, a woman's role was to be the homemaker, have kids. Then we came out with the civil rights movement, women's liberation movement, and all of this. So this decision came from some judges that really buy into a conservative way of living,
Mm-hmm.
to say pro-life. And I'm not knocking it, but then they're already throwing it out there. It may happen, they're gonna challenge same-sex marriages and in vitro fertilization. So it would seem to me that there is an agenda. This Roe v. Wade, this stuff ain't just come up this year. Somebody been plotting this like years
Yeah,
ago.
no. Especially for it to go all the way to the Supreme Court so quickly.
So they trying to take it. And that Clarence Thomas, listen.
His last name is Thomas for a reason.
That was my only.
He related to you?
No.
Oh,
Uncle.
Uncle Tom. Oh.
That was my only point. I was mainly speaking to like the spoiled women that just, I should be able to get an abortion if I want to or if I feel like it.
I don't support that notion
Well,
at all. But
We gonna see. All I can say to you is,
listen, about this she session, I want someone to put me back in my place at home because I'm tired of working.
well, then just decide to be a stay-at-home wife.
Because it's not, as far as economically speaking, it's not possible for me right now. Not in the place where I am at this particular time of moment. Maybe in a year or two, I can make it happen. But where I am, change some things around, for the man to be the man and be able, so I can stay home. Fine. I would love to do my business in my own home. Like use my own toilet when I want to.
Right.
And not have to worry about cleaning it before I sit down and after I sit down. Granted, I will always clean my toilet, but it's mine. I like to cook. I like to clean. I'm a domestic. I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'm okay with it. For those who are not, that
I'm
is your
glad you
business.
said that, yeah.
Listen.
Like a lot of women think that that's a bad thing.
I don't give it. Let me tell you something.
You should want to be an independent and go out and work.
Oh, no,
get
I'm
your own
very
career.
much so independent because I was raised to be that.
Right.
However, I like to be at home.
Well, their definition of independence is different from.
Yeah,
you're independent if you got your own job and you're making your own money. And it's just like, but that's not what makes you independent, though.
No. To hell with that.
It's not.
That's not what makes you.
What makes you independent?
You being an individual and knowing how to care for yourself and knowing how to take care of yourself. But if you make a choice.
Wait a minute, because I'm not going to let you slide with this.
Okay.
The definition of independent is what? Being able to function
alone,
separately as a whole unit yourself.
Right. Yeah.
I basically said that in different words. Knowing how to.
Well, because financially, there's financial independence, I think you were thinking of. And then
if a woman is married and she doesn't have a job and she doesn't have an income,
mm-hmm.
she's not independent.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
If her husband is providing for her,
if it's a choice, you're not.
It doesn't matter. We're not talking about choice. We're saying a married woman who doesn't have a job, and her husband is the provider. And I get it, the two become one. We get that in biblical terms. But as far as the definition, if I'm married, I don't work, I have no source of income, and everything I get, my husband gets it for me. He pays all the bills. He gives me an allowance. I'm not independent.
I disagree.
Okay.
I feel like you just in that circumstance that you just described, you're just playing a role. That's the same as if a man is working and he's not cooking for himself, but a woman is cooking for himself. You won't call him non-independent. You would just say that he's filling a role. That doesn't mean he doesn't know how to cook for himself. That doesn't mean that she doesn't know how to go work, but they both have their delegated roles. I can't say that you're not independent for filling the role. I feel like for you to not be independent means that you have no means and you don't know how to survive on your own without the help of someone else. If you're choosing to fill a role of being a stay-at-home mom, not having a job, I'm going to take care of the kids, you're going to work. You don't have to worry about cooking because I'm going to cook. I don't think that's not you being independent. I feel like you're just literally filling a role.
Okay, and that's your perspective and you have a right to it. I respect it. And yet I'll say it matters not whether someone have the means to do it. I could say I have the means to go work for an employer right now, and I choose not to do that. So does that mean I'm not a part of the workforce, the employee? Yes, it means I'm not a part of it. I have the capacity to engage in it, but I choose not to. So it is if a woman is in a marriage, yes, she may have skills. She may be able to get a job and provide for herself. But the fact of the matter is, if the status quo is that her husband is working, he's providing for her, she's depending on him to take care of her needs. So at this space in time, she's not operating as an independent woman.
All right. I know you got a podcast to do, so I ain't going to go back.
I'm going to say I'm an independent thinker.
But I was going to say...
I can think for myself.
I was going to say...
I can say that I can do independently without anybody else. But I understand both. I think both parts. It got a little murky in the middle for me a little bit. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you, but I get what you're saying. Is that for you? It's more like self-fulfillment. Is that what am I?
To a certain extent, yeah.
Okay. And then for you, it's about not only the self-fulfillment, but also the economic means.
It's not about anything for me. So that's a sidebar, but I'm not opposed. I just think the way I understand it, and granted, like you said, you don't mind being a homemaker. And let me just emphasize, it's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no.
There are some women, I believe that's what God has in their purpose to be.
Right.
Is a wife, a homemaker. And it's nothing wrong with that. Some people love that. And yet there are others that don't want marriage, that don't want kids, it's nothing wrong with that either. So it's a matter of personal choice. That's what I'm saying. And it's nothing wrong. I think it's a wonderful thing for a woman who loves being a wife and her man provides for her. And I hear a lot of men say, yeah, they treat their wife like a queen because she serves them. She takes care of their kids. She takes care of the home. That works for them. It's nothing wrong with that. But the fact of the matter is she's still depending on her husband.
That's fine.
So that's all I'm
saying. So does that mean that everyone's dependent? Does that mean that everyone is dependent?
I'm going to need you to just do a little bit of information seeking yourself and just really understand that. No, I'm just saying, because I don't have the answers that fit your train of thought. It has to make sense to you.
Well, I'm solely going based off of literally what you described as independence. So does that mean if I can't build my own house, if I can't change my own tire, if I can't do all of these things that I have to depend on someone else for, does that mean that I'm not independent?
Not in that aspect.
Okay.
Because and I like when you said you can't change your tire. A lot of women can change a tire, right?
And I can change my own
and
oil.
Change the oil and
Shout
all of that.
Shout out to my daddy.
But for the ones who can't, they break down on the side of the road. For the ones who can't do it themselves, they're gonna have to call someone.
Right.
So they're gonna have to depend on someone. So I think if you think about it in that sense, it's the way you understand.
So I don't think anybody's independent.
No, I feel like the whole world, functions on codependency. You have to.
We do.
Yeah, that's just what relationship. That's just what interpersonal relationships are. You have to depend on somebody else to do something. You can't be your own doctor. Even doctors have
people. Why don't people know that? Because that's powerful. When you said the whole world depends, if people could get that in their heads. Yeah. I don't think this world would be so messed up like it is. People would be treating people better because individuals like, I don't want to just,
Go ahead.
no, it's just like, you see, I don't want to go negative, but I just agree with you. Everybody, like we say, we're only 6 people from reaching anybody in the world, right? Anybody you know, you're 6 people away from reaching them. What do you do when you're trying to do something you don't have the connection? You know somebody who knows somebody that knows somebody, right?
Right.
That's how a lot of people are getting jobs or getting opportunities or, you know, beating the system or whatever they're doing based upon who they know.
Right.
Somebody is providing something for them. And I say it in senses like where they have a real issue or an agenda, but it's the same thing when you say everybody needs somebody. That's powerful because we're all really connected in that sense. And I know y'all be hearing me go off because I hate racism and I'm always going to talk about race because we're not going to pretend like it's not a thing. I buy into critical race theory all day long.
You do your thing.
And I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it till I ain't breathing no more because it's really a thing. But by the same token, I do realize that we all, like, we are one. Whether people believe it or not, we are one. And if people could get that and really think about it in terms of, because what you do, like even that fool that just shot up off of the 4th of July, that fool that just shot in Chicago in that parade.
Oh, yes, yes.
Like, he's doing that for whatever his reasons are. And the people maybe in that vicinity were directly impacted. I think 6 people were killed, over a dozen injured. Yeah, that may be happening in Chicago, but that has implications for New York. This is what I keep telling people. So, but anyway, that's that. So I don't know if you want to have an abortion, Alex. I say go for it.
I was thinking about it.
You was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody told me they're working on trying to get men to carry women. Was that you who told me?
Men to carry women.
Someone was telling me, you know how they got the in vitro fertilization of the test tube babies. That's what we grew up with it being called. Said they're working on trying to grow a womb inside of a man.
Oh, why?
So he can carry a baby.
Excuse me?
Why, though?
Now, is that because of trans individuals? Like,
I don't know.
Why do we?
Because that, to me, and, you know, to me, okay, fine. If a trans woman wants to have a baby, she can't, you know, produce it herself because she was never born with a uterus. But I don't know. I don't know.
Ooh,
That's
why?
different. How does that work? Like, you know, I'm thinking about just the hormones alone that are associated with
science.
Maintaining a uterus. And what are they gonna do? Just put it in and take it out? Like, I'm confused.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, Lord.
And this is,
I don't know why you think we be having answers, but you can ask,
I
right?
hope this is.
Well,
You
listen,
know what?
if
It's
we ain't got
probably
the
gonna
answers, y'all can tell me the answers in the
offend
comments.
some people. But
Hey,
why do we?
listen, I need y'all to hit the like or dislike button. Are you liking this episode? Or if you don't like it, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Can you do that for me? Appreciate that.
And answer Alex's question.
Cool little spot. Why do we like hold like society, well, not society, the government and systems to a standard to give us what we want, but not necessarily need? Like, if I feel, I'm not targeting anyone, I'm using an example.
Here we go.
If I feel like I want to be a woman tomorrow, why is it acceptable for me to make someone else appease me in that way? Like, you're gonna operate on me.
Because people want to live their lives. Ooh, I'm going to catch you for this. Because people want to live their lives through their senses. I'm sorry. I'm a Christian. And the word says there's 3 things in life. It's lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. And if you just keep it in 100, however people believe you got here, in my mind, let me preface, I love everybody.
Me too.
I love everybody.
Me too.
I get to have an opinion. I'm not going to put it out there, but when you say, why are they looking for the government to appease? It's almost like you want to be around people that's going to tell you what you want to hear. People do that. So it is, if I feel like I want to be with you, right? Because I want to. If I feel like I want to be with Toni and everybody is telling me, no, this is morally not cool, morally no cool. So we're in this world where we have rights, we can lobby, we can petition and stuff like that. It's like, I'm going to get what I want. And I say, why do we look to the government? Because we've gotten away from looking from a supreme being.
Right.
However people want to perceive that, you know, whether, and I don't want to get into the religion. I think a lot of people believe in a higher power, and I think their conscience bears witness with truth. But people get in the habit of doing what makes them feel good, and they know it goes against what's right for them, but they don't care because if it feels good, and after you keep, it's like, you know, I said one time I made an illegal U-turn. And as soon as I did it, I got caught. And I used to say, every time I do something, I get caught immediately and other people get away with it. But you know what? I'm glad because every time people get away with something, they do it more and more. And it's like they lose conscience. So
what's that face, Toni?
I may be all over the place.
Because I'm trying to keep up. That's why.
But I know what I'm talking about. I say people look to government. People look to government because government officials have been elected by constituents. And they want to get in office. So supposedly they represent the issues that people care about, no matter how sick or unruly or unethical it is. And if I represent you, I got to represent the well-being of my constituents. So if you tell me you want whatever you want, and if that's what I run on, that's what I got to give you.
That was a long answer, but I feel you.
Okay, and I just think people just getting away from morality. That's saying why you looking to the government? Because you know the government is corrupt and does not operate from moral principles.
Take it away, because take it away.
So that's just me. Y'all get mad at me if you
want to. No, I'm with you.
I believe in God and the world is the way. I'm sorry. I done made a lot of mistakes. I done a lot of stuff wrong. I pay for it. I'm trying to get back to my core. I'm not trying to go against the will of God. I'm not doing that.
I'm with you. I guess my point is just put it out there. I'm tired of spoiled people. I'm tired of these systems aren't put in place for you. The medical system isn't put in place for you to go and start demanding things that you want that you don't need. If you got a tumor in your stomach, yeah, please operate on me. If you want a boob job and that man decides that he don't want to operate on you, you can't get mad at him and say, you didn't give me the boobs that I want. I can get it, breast reduction, all that good stuff. But I'm saying if you're trying to change yourself aesthetically because it makes you feel better, they don't have to appease you. But like, it's acceptable for someone to say, I don't feel comfortable about giving you a butt lift or whatever the case may be. But if a man says, I don't want to give you an operation because you want to change your sex. Oh, you're crazy. You're corrupt. That's messed up. We should lobby. We should X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, these systems are put in place to look out for your well-being. It's when I'm speaking specifically of the medical field. They don't have to give you boobs they don't have to do that.
But see, they do. And this is the thing, consistency. Because what you can't have it both sides. When medical practitioners do it for one person, you open the door, you got to do it for other people. So it's not fair.
No, I get you.
That Bruce can become Caitlyn.
No, I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you set a precedent, and we know it's about economics. Like you say, a boob job is not, matter of fact, it's probably going to worsen your health.
That's what I'm saying.
There are side effects. You got to keep maintaining that stuff. And if you don't, whatever the pros and cons, I don't know them all. I ain't trying to get them, but I know there are some medical side effects, right?
Right.
So you made me lose my train of thought.
Sorry.
But the thing is, it's economics. They allow it to happen because it's money. And we say this society is built upon capitalism. And it is. And that's how we've gotten away from this spirituality or even the Christian principles that the country said that it was built upon.
It's just, yeah. I don't know. I say all that to say, like, there are people really out there, little kids that need heart transplants, that need lungs and stuff. And you're crying because somebody won't give you boobs or change or give you a penis because you feel like a man.
Yeah.
What are we complaining about?
I understand your train of thought, and yet people have the right to want what you want. But I got sense enough to know there's things that I want that I know is not good for me. And I may think I want it, or I may have this sensuality of what it would be like to experience this. But then I have the consciousness to check myself and say, okay, you may feel like you want that, but girl, you don't really want that. But I have that control and that capacity, in that area. Some people don't. They want what they want when they want. They don't care about the ramifications. They don't care how it affects you. They don't care how it affects you. And if I got the money to buy it, because that's the
You
thing.
better do it for me.
That's the because that's the
You
thing.
better do it for me.
That's the thing. If I got the
No.
money,
No, I'm sorry.
because you can literally buy a penis, you can buy a vagina. I've never seen stuff that you can buy stuff. No one can understand birth. It's such a mystery how a baby grows inside of you, the little fingers, the hands, and yet you took your mama 9 months to make it, all of that. And you can come out of your pocket with some money. And to me, you cannot put a price on that process. Who can understand how that happens? And yet, I can have money and go to the doctor and tell you, I want you to sew me a penis, or I want you to sew me a vagina.
Well, put it across the board in boob jobs and stuff, just because I don't want nobody to feel like we targeting. You know what I'm saying?
You are, or
but
boobs,
across the board.
Or a butt. I can get a butt.
Or lips, Botox on your face. Like, that's not a necessity,
and I can see veterans, right? They get their legs blown off in combat. They don't even get a real thing. They get a prosthetic, leg or whatever. I don't think science has even invested that much into giving military people real limbs. Right. But yet they can get a butt. They can get some boobs.
And these are the things that we marching for. Like, I guess that was my point with the whole elective abortion thing. It's like, you're spoiled. Like, there are people who have real needs out here. Like, instead of marching for this over here that you really kind of don't need. I'm not talking about abortions across the board, but instead of marching with this, which I do think that medical people in the medical field discriminate against LGBTQ men. I'm not saying that that's not a thing. I'm just saying
they do. They discriminate against black people. They discriminate against poor people.
Right. I'm just saying,
whether they're white, black, they discriminate against different categories of people.
I'm just saying, instead of marching because somebody won't give you boobs or a penis or whatever the case may be, how about you march so we can try to figure out how to get more affordable health care for that kid that needs, whatever the case may be, to live. Or how about we start putting more of our money into St. Jude? All right, let's not say St. Jude because they be stealing it too. How about we start putting our money where it needs to go and our energy where it needs to go instead of worrying about things that we don't need but want.
Okay. So I heard both of y'all. And I did my best.
Why are you always laughing?
To stay quiet because I laugh.
She look like she's burning on the inside.
So I understand the viewpoint of there are wants and there are needs. And I do agree that there are a lot of other things that are a need as far as medicine is concerned. Fact of the matter is that we still don't have
a cure for cancer. Absolutely. Well, they do, but
but they're not making it readily accessible to people.
For us.
They're going to kill us.
There's still no way of doing early detection for many cancers. They have to wait until it's stage 3 or 4 for many cancers in order for it to be detectable. And then you have the people who are just like, well, I don't feel right in my body. I want to feel right in my body. Absolutely. Take a seat for a second. I got more important things to worry about. That's what I would love for the federal government to say to these people. Hold on. I got other shit to do. Excuse my language, but I got other stuff to do. I still don't have a cure for AIDS. I don't. Allegedly.
They got it.
I don't have a cure for AIDS. I'm sorry. You wanting a uterus right now is kind of on the back burner.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Granted, we figured out how to do successful heart transplants, but I still don't know how to grow a heart for a human to actually function.
Right.
I still don't have a way to artificially grow organs, vital organs,
right,
to do transplants and guarantee that the result of them functioning above 40%
right,
is going to save this person.
Right.
I don't have that. These are things that we need. And I get it. What you want is not, we're not saying at all that is not important.
Right.
But there are more important things right now. So let me focus. Let me focus, and then I'll get to it. I promise I'll get to it. But as you can see, for a good 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decades, I've been trying to work on this.
Right. I don't even. I get you. I think the only part that we may disagree on is I don't even think that they have to get to it if they don't want to get to it.
No, but you can still gotta appease people.
No, let's
you
just
don't.
keep it 100.
I'm just saying.
Y'all gonna hate me. I don't care. The real deal is people in these boobs and all of this stuff because you don't like who you are. You're around here representing like you fly, and yes, you got low self-esteem. Anytime you come into the world, you don't like your body. If you're fat because you overeat, right? You just overeat, you eat junk, and you don't like the way you look, do what you got to do. I understand people have issues internally beneath that symptoms. Listen, been there. Drug addict, all that kind of stuff, been there. So I'm not coming at you like that. But all of this stuff, you're trying to look good. You're doing all of this aesthetic stuff. And then you address the issues at the core. And because you're living in this world from a worldly perspective and you don't have that spirituality, I don't care what nobody say. You're around here talking about how much you love God as you perceive him, and yet you're injecting yourself with Botox and all. No, you ain't loving God, because if you love God, you would love yourself because he made you in his image, if that's what you buy into. So I ain't trying to hear that. Our problem, in my opinion, is a spiritual problem. And I'm not saying I'm almighty. I'm on this journey too. I look at myself 6 months ago and things I said, I'm like, is that you? But I'm growing and I'm learning. And, I try to respect people, and you try to, make them feel okay, and you try to validate them. But it comes a time you just got to call it for what you got to call it. The world is messed up because people are trying to live as like their gods, trying to rule themselves. And you see, it's not working. They're doing what the next person doing. They got low self-esteem. They don't see themselves the way that they're created to be. And it's all of these little shallow temporary fixes, because don't nobody care how you look. At the end of the day, you ain't what you look like.
Facts.
Toni ain't that. That's not
Facts.
you. You're the essence of your being. You know what I'm saying? And people need the body gonna fade. That booty gonna sag, them breasts gonna twist. You're gonna have to get them shots and all that good stuff. And come at me, people, talk about me. I receive it. Thank you.
But
Hallelujah.
you're not wrong, though.
But it's just true.
You're not wrong.
And why the world is the way it is, they say this good versus evil. It is. It's greed. People want power. Money. They want what they see. They want what make them feel good. They want to be puffed up, powerful. That's what it is. Negroes, just be who you are. Accept who you are for who you are. If you don't like something, work on it and progress. Do it naturally.
Go to Ethiopia and talk about, and you see if they over there talking about something. I want a boob job, and you better give it to me.
No.
What? Are you kidding me? Are you serious?
Listen, it's a lot.
I don't know. I just think get back to basic medical necessity. Like if they were to say, listen, we are here to save lives. And by the way, if operating on you kind of goes against that a little bit, because every time I'm cutting you open, I'm actually putting you at risk because you want bigger boobs.
Yeah, you gotta go.
But that goes to show you. That goes to show you how people feel. Even a cancer patient knows they run the risk of being opened up.
Right.
But I get it. If they're at stage 3, 4, they're trying
and
to
you
get
have
that
to,
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're trying to preserve their life. But just think about that. Just think about that. You're a healthy person. You can let somebody butcher you and cut you open.
Not even that. You're going to try to make them.
Yeah. So your breasts are more attractive. What does that say? Don't say nothing. How do I feel about myself? Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm going to run the risk of taking my life so my boobs can stand up straight like this and my ass. And to tell you the truth, when I see people, you could tell when it's fake. They look like they came off the Men in Black some damn where. I'm just saying when you see, and I'm not talking about nobody's natural look, because I think that our beauty is in just our naturalness, the way we came on this earth. It's almost like saying, I'm not good enough the way I naturally came here. Now, think about that. Think about that.
Wait,
but I'm going to look to it.
I'm sorry, hold on. Did she say Men in Black?
You know what the first thing I thought of?
What?
Well, I'm talking about like,
roach looking thing.
She said Men in Black.
That's the only movie I can
Yo, can I just say, Bob, I didn't hear anything you said after.
I gotta hold it together.
No, that's the only movie I could think of. And am I
Mom said
sounding
they look
really
like
negative
Flint.
right
No,
now?
but it's facts though, man, because we have to like highlight, because here's the part that we don't talk about. We always talk about the systems, which is valid. We always talk about how the government ain't SHIT, they take all our money. We always talk about that, which is valid. But we never talk about the other side, meaning when it comes to certain things, we as Americans are very spoiled. We're very spoiled and we demand things that we don't need. Like you can't.
Alex, you don't beat that in, son. You repeating it.
That's it. Now, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree. But let's just get out of here because y'all getting me in trouble, okay?
Listen, I came to spice things up a little bit
But
today. Yo.
no, I just say, you know me, I'm on this thing. My journey is mine. Everybody got their journey. And this is my opinion. I'm old school. I'm older. That facet, I'm not changing. You know what I'm saying?
You notice that whenever we start having controversial conversations, she get quiet. She's like, I don't want no part of what y'all talking about.
That kind of because she's the kind of person that's complicit. She'll see something wrong and won't say nothing.
Because I can't tell folks what to do with their lives.
That's how I know you're not a ride or die. That's good information for me.
Wait a second.
Because I can't count on you.
Wait a second.
You're not a diehard.
Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you what I think you should be doing. You're going to do what you want to do because you're grown.
We already know that.
You've done it before, Toni.
Who's telling people what they should be doing?
I don't want to tell anybody. I'll tell you what I think.
Who said, who in this conversation said what people should do?
You
didn't hear me say that.
I said we spoiled. That's all I said.
You asked me. You said, well, that's the reason why I know you're not a ride or die, because you'll be complicit and not say anything. No, I'm not going to tell you what you should and should not be doing. I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you my opinion, and which I did.
I'm not going to let you. You're not squirming out of this one because
this is not a squirm because I said what I said and it's recorded, so it's not a matter of squirming.
But I said nothing about you telling people
what to do.
He was saying what we should be doing. He said it, and basically what he was saying about priorities, what should be priorities.
And I said that.
But I get it, Alec. It's all about what people value, because what may be a priority to you may not be a priority to me. So I even get people like that. If they want a boob job, to them, if that's their priority, that only just solidifies the fact that they off their sense of self.
But
right?
I think my words were misconstrued. I never said what you should do. The only thing that I was saying was
I said the government should.
The only thing that I was saying was, if I can't say that you shouldn't want a boob job. I'm just saying for you to expect that person to do it for you, you can't. That's all I said.
And now I beg to differ.
You can't make him do it.
But I want to come back to Toni because I got to go here. But no, you can expect it. When this is the status quo, when you know you can go to the Dominican or you can go to Miami.
Because you said once you do it for one person, you have to do it for everybody.
Movie. What's that movie with Christian? What's that movie?
Nip Tuck.
You got a whole movie on Sean and Christian that's doing these boob jobs and butt jobs. Very good series, by the way, too. But you got a whole where people going down to Miami is showing these plastic surgery. The one dude was just a hoe. Okay. And he's just like, he was a mess. But so it's really a thing now. It's a thing. So yeah, if it's available and I can go pay for it, I can get it. They're licensed plastic surgeons.
You can stop it though. Because the powerful thing about Nip Tuck, because eventually Sean had gotten to a point where he was like, this person doesn't have enough money for something that he needs.
Right.
We're doing, $10,000 boob jobs on these women that don't need it.
But it was the money. It comes back to the money thing.
But even in that show, he started to change up. He was just like, as
an individual.
Right.
His values changed.
Right.
His priorities changed. And I get it. We can't tell people what to do, but I'm still saying, it's like, Toni, if somebody bum rushed you right now and came in here and just jacked you and beat you down, you wouldn't expect us to just sit here, would you?
No.
Okay, then I'll put it to you like that so you'll get it. When I say you could see stuff foul and not do nothing, and you say, no, I'm not going to tell people what they're going to do. No, we can't tell people what they should do and what they should not do. We're just making analogies and saying what is. That's all.
I'm just saying what I think.
Y'all always trying to get me jacked up here.
No, but I still am going to address the fact that because I said, cool, it's fine if you want that, but there are other things that are more important. That was my only point. Point blank, period. I'm not going to go into everything else as far as a person's morals and their values. I don't know those folks.
Yeah, I don't really care about
So I can't sit there and say, oh, your morals or your values are jacked up.
I can call you spoiled, though.
Okay, well,
yes, that's fair.
Get it, but
that's your opinion.
I'm not talking about the individual. Can I put myself included? I'm talking about a spiritual morality, and I'll say from the perspective I come from. I believe in the concept of God, just like you say you do and you say you do, whatever that means to people. But I believe that there is a higher power that operates on a supernatural level.
I do too.
So, because I've had things happen in my life that there's no way. It's the same thing when people believe in manifesting stuff, meditation, visualizing, manifesting. That's what you're really saying. When you're talking about manifesting, you're talking about a spiritual focus on something that you bring into the physical realm. So people say it in different kind of ways, but what they talking about is a supreme being that brings it into fruition. So let's just get that clear. And when I say the whole world, I said the world is operating from a lack of spiritual morality. And I'm included in the world because I'm not a perfect human being. And I do things wrong too. I'm saying I have the awareness that I fall short here, I need to work on this here. So when I say that's the problem of the whole world, especially our nation, I say it and I mean it. And I'm not going to take it back. I'm not going to take it back. Like, and I'll say when you took prayers out of the schools, and now they'll tell you affirmations, that's how we build self-esteem. Yes, affirmations. That's how you do it. You're saying it now, but why? When prayer was in school, those were affirmations and meditation. Now they got retreats and all this stuff. Everything they're making money off, it's called prayer. It's called prayer. That's what it really is. But it's like, let's repackage it this way. Let's brand it this way. So I'm still going to say what I'm going to say. Whoever don't like it, I get it. And I would like you guys to just think about it. If you would, like even the concept of,
you going in, ain't you?
Even the concept of marriage, right? You finna get married, right? Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Congrats.
And I expect you and your husband to have, I pray you have a good relationship, and I hope it lasts. Because you're going to take those vows, you're going to take them serious. And as long as he ain't abusing you and you ain't abusing him, I'm hoping y'all going to work it out. But how many people do this? They don't. They get married, they cheating on each other, they got outside kids, they wifeys-in-laws. The baby's mama's hanging out and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But tell me it ain't nothing wrong with that. Even if it works for the people, is that really working for the kids? No, it's not. Because the husband may be in the house with these kids, but he's not over there with the other kid. That's a moral issue. But that's because somebody wanted to do what they wanted to do. They got a wife at home. Oh, yeah, I'm providing for her. So their thing is, I can have this and I can have this too. Ain't nothing wrong with it. So, yeah, to me, if one woman ain't going to satisfy you, what make you think 5 of them going to satisfy you? That's more problems and more headaches. That's just my thing, y'all. I'm going to back up off of this because
I'm not even going to lie. There's nothing for me to say because everything that I couldn't have said it better myself.
And it's cool. You're young. Keep living because I had to keep living. I'm still learning because you in your 20s. By the time you hit 40 and 50, and people say, oh, when you get 50, 60, you call on the Lord. No, honey, he been in my life even when I was jacked, when I was locked up, when I was doing drugs. When I was doing drugs, I was praying every day. God been in my life forever. But as you live long enough and you watch stuff how it is, you start realizing that this world, it ain't what it is. What you see ain't really what it is.
But you know that. But why do I have to constantly tell people that? That's my thing. I don't have to walk around and say that. I live my life for me and me alone. And I have to. But I can't sit here and hold myself morally responsible for every other person in the world.
What are you talking about?
I get what you're saying.
We're sitting here having this conversation. You're like, oh, you don't call out things that are foul. I can't sit here and constantly go back and forth with every person that I find something foul with. I don't have that energy. I don't.
And nobody does. Yeah. It'll break you down. I'm not an activist.
And that's the reason there are certain conversations. That's the reason why I sit back and I stay quiet. Because at the end of the day, just like you say, you keep living, you gonna learn. I learned that a long time ago.
I get it. I understand that. And that's good. Living. That's good. But for the fact that you're on this platform and we talking, this ain't the time to be silent. You're supposed to have something to say.
I did. I said what I had to say.
I'm not saying for you got to tell people, but if we sitting up here talking about, and your truth is yours, I'm not going to knock that. But I pose the question to you. If somebody walked in this door and jumped on your behind, and if we just sat down and did nothing, that wouldn't be cool with you, would it?
Correct.
But I could say that ain't none of my business. Why am I going to interfere with? Who am I to get involved with Tony's stuff?
That is on a 1-to-1 basis. Correct? If I sat here and I went outside right now and I encounter something, of course, if I'm there, I'm going to say something. But if I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm reading in the news and in Michigan, this happened, What the hell is Toni gonna do from New York?
No, I get
it. I get it.
The interpretation is different on Toni's end. Toni's looking at it from the standpoint of, I can't tell each individual what they should and shouldn't be doing with their lives. And you can't, because there's 7 billion people in the world. However, I do think that change happens by having conversations that are important to have. So if you know that there's an issue that's common in the world and we're discussing it on a platform, you know that somebody may turn the podcast on and may hear it, it may resonate with them. So you giving your point of view on certain topics, I think, is important.
And that's yours.
And I did.
And I get it. She said she can't tell people nothing, and I get it. But I'm going to say true. What happened in Michigan happened in Michigan. But like I keep telling people, it's happening in Michigan today. Don't be surprised if it's Kingston tomorrow. And people don't get that, because people don't never raise up until it hits their family. Whereas, you can send prayers and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, maybe as a unit, we can't fix what's happening in Michigan. I understand that. But as an individual, we can process. And when I spoke of morality, it starts on an individual level. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm being moral and I'm trying to have values that don't impede negatively in your life, if I'm conducting myself in a manner, I'm one person, right? So if I can interact with you in a moral manner, okay, there's peace between me and you. And if the next person can do it, because that's what it's going to take. So when I speak and say there's a spiritual moral problem, I'm speaking in general.
Right, but doesn't it start with you? So if I hold my peace and people see me holding my peace and holding what's dear to me and my peace and me acting based off of my peace, don't you think that will influence the next person?
Not necessarily. Not if they can't recognize it.
I'm going to just, this
but if you have a relationship with the person, correct?
Yeah, but...
And they see you operating within your peace.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, Toni, how did you get there? That's a conversation we can have.
Yeah, but that's if they recognize it as you operating in peace. Like if somebody's watching a podcast and they don't know you and just Toni's not saying anything about it, about a topic, they're not interpreting it like she's holding her peace. They could interpret it anyway. That's the hard part with silence. When you're quiet, you leave other people to draw whatever conclusion they want to draw. So if we're having a conversation about priorities being messed up, you said what you said, but then we started going certain places, and you got really, 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 really quiet, and Mom was giving her opinion, I was giving my opinion, but you weren't saying anything.
Because I have no opinion on it.
Okay. Then say that.
There's nothing for me to say on that. Because
it is. Wait, hold on.
Because at the end of the day, for me, first off, if I don't agree with it, that's one thing.
Right.
And it's just like, you know what? I don't know how I feel about it. And if I don't know how I feel about something, I'm not going to sit here and talk on something I don't know about.
I appreciate you coming out saying, I don't know how I feel about that, so I'm not going to say nothing. I can handle that. But just, and I can't tell you how to be. I'm just saying it from a perspective. We're just having conversation on here. We come here, we show up to talk about things with the goal of provoking thought. People may say, well, who are you to provoke thought? I'm who I am.
Nobody.
And if I get you to think about something and you have an aha moment, then I'm the person who I am, being who I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to do. But by the fact that we're engaging in conversation, the way I look at you, you're an influencer. If I'm watching you, regardless whether you got a big following or not, if it ain't but 2 people watching these,
you're an influencer.
You're on a platform that you have the ability to influence the 2 people that's listening or watching. That's where I'm coming from. So no. If you have nothing to say, just say, well, I don't have nothing to say about that. I'm not going to say nothing. But it's clearly when we're looking at your expressions are worth $1 million.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on up there when your face is scrounging up.
Listen, guys, we got to go. But did we have a good conversation today?
I be starting stuff. I'm sorry.
So you in your feelings right now?
No.
Hey, listen, y'all. We finna go because whatever. But I don't know. I come from a good place. If I hurt somebody's feelings, that wasn't my intention. I love people. I love humanity. I just want to see the world be a better place. And I believe that's going to happen. It's not going to happen by itself. It starts with an individual. And people going to do what they're going to do. But I just say what's happening on the other side of the world, people say, oh, we don't got nothing to do with that. Naturally, you live in your community. We live in your community. You do what you got to do. But I don't know. Just wait till things to
Toni,
get you.
Right.
Wait till things to get you to your town before you. But don't be surprised.
It's true.
I'm saying don't be surprised if things happen to you, and I don't wish that on you, because it may be even with George Floyd. It took people around the whole world to step in to push for the change that we
needed. It took a conversation, mini conversation.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So it wasn't just people in was it Wisconsin, wherever he was,
I think it was
Minnesota, wherever he was at. It wasn't just people there that just affected change. You know, it was other people, and conversations have been going on for whatever, that the notion of complicit. People knew things. People knew there's little things they could have done. They didn't do it. So to each his own, and if you can live with it or you can live with it, I just can't live with me seeing a straight up wrong and don't do nothing about it and it's bothering me. Now, if it don't bother me, that's different. And I'm not saying I can change stuff, but if I see a wrong, even if I can't do nothing but say a prayer, I got to acknowledge it. But just to say I'm not going to get involved, because I find people who like that, it comes right on their doorstep. And then the same thing where they say I couldn't get involved in that. But now these same people you couldn't even get involved with, these are the ones that's standing out here lobbying, going to the Capitol. Listen, I've been on both sides. So
I was asking if you was okay because you don't put your hair up,
No,
roll your
she's
sleeves up. Yeah, like you all right, Tony?
My sleeves been up like this all
Nah,
the time.
you she did a few stretches and everything. Mom, she did like this and everything. I saw it. I said,
All
"Geez."
right, guys.
These lights are hot.
Well, I appreciate talking to y'all. I'm tired.
That slouch got real, Tony said.
It's all good. But
I would
you know,
flip you off, but it's not.
there's a lot of good things going. But in
just blur it out.
in spite of everything, I still believe that things are going to get better. They may seem like they're going to get worse before they get better. But we went over anyway. It's a good episode. Hey, listen, guys, I need y'all to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You're watching it, but you're not giving me no feedback. And I would really appreciate that. Can you do that for me? Can you just hit that like button, you know, or the dislike button? Because, you know, I like the debate. All
No,
right?
don't dislike it.
Well, it's been real. They got a right to dislike it. If they
Right.
want to.
We want them thumbs up, man. Don't encourage people to dislike it.
I want
They
them to
like
be
them dislike
themselves.
it. Right. Be honest.
I would like you to hit the like button and subscribe and comment, yo. I would, if you hit the dislike button, hit it on your own. I'm not going to encourage you to hit the dislike
But
button.
I'm just saying, but I realize there's people who don't even know me but don't like me.
Yo, Mom, we got to go, man.
But I'm just saying that's the reality. There's people, do you know 10% of the population don't
Fam.
like you and they don't even know you? That's just the reality. And yet I respect the fact that you don't like me
Yo.
because you have the right to do that.
Yo, the batteries is over here. We gotta go, man.
Okay, guys. Well, I hope everybody has a good day today and stay safe and all that good stuff. And yeah, I've enjoyed this conversation. I'm sweating. No, y'all, I ain't smoking crack. Okay, it's just hot in here, all right?
My God.
Because people be like, she's sweating. Right? But anyway, all right, TT. Well, it was nice talking to you, but you act like you want to do something.
Yo, Mom, we got to
We
go,
end it
man.
towards
Can you
right?
end it, please?
No, I'm going to let Tony end this since you're quiet.
Yeah, end it.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to us on the Perfectly Incomplete podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Actually, comment a lot because we had a lot of questions, and apparently my silence was a problem. So
Facts.
shut up, Alex. So we'll see you guys next time. Deuces.
This is y'all.